I'm a big fan of helikits, and I even bought this one this morning from my favourite model shop, Richardson's of Feltham. And this is a new release, or a re-release, I should say. The What's a really nice idea? It's the original manufacture is 1977, and in 2020 the molds were revised, which I think is a nice thing to put on your box. I mean, to me, these parts look very nice. They're a very simple build. Well, might be a little bit tricky with the upper wing. And the other thing that Hella have really improved upon is their instructions. This from the new kit. The instructions are step by step, and when you compare it to one of the older kits, it was kind of just like an exploded diagram, and good luck if it's your first model. But now a lot of effort has gone into these instructions with color callouts and even a nice, well, 3 different liveries there. So I really would recommend, if you haven't built a Hella kit before and you fancy something a bit different, go and treat yourself. I've always liked them. I've been building them for a little while, and this is some of my collection. And the boxes have been out in various styles, always, with a nice painting. There was the Humbrol takeover period where they had to show a photograph of the actual model inside. I mean, still quite nice. And if I see a Hella model second hand, I do tend to buy them because I really like them. There's something satisfying about building a Hella kit. And also, the other nice thing is all the French subjects. And again, this is a new release. Some of these are the older kits of the 1940s, 30s and 40s aircraft. I always enjoy building a Hella kit. You do have to be careful, because there is a Potes 631 and also another 631. But this is a 6311. So there's a pretty one, and there is the slightly not so. One of the hazards of collecting is ending up with 2 of the same. It's not the end of the world, is it? And again, you get these fantastic pre-war French aircraft. And going into the Second World War, we've got a whole selection of Morans here. And into 1940. Sometimes Hella kits appear under the Smur brand, and they're the same Hella kits inside. I can recommend this little book. It is in French. I'm still learning, but I've just discovered Google Translate, so that's really helped. Let me show you some of the finished ones. So this is the box for the Corsair, and again, it also got released under the Airfix label at one time, and I painted mine as a Fleet Air Arm Corsairs, and the wingtips were slightly shorter. You can see the ends are straight there. I shall do the US Navy one as well at some stage. And let's start with the Mark 1. There's a Mark 1 Spitfire and a Mark 5. Interesting because it has clip wings. And then a rather nice 16, which has the cut down rear fuselage, and again the clip wings. That's a really nice kit to build, and that's one of the ones that's come out again recently. There's a Hurricane 2C. One of my favourite Hella kits was the Tempest. Beautiful kit to make, and in the markings of a very famous French pilot, Pierre Closterman, who wrote a book called The Big Show, and it's a fantastic book, brilliant to read, a real insight into a free French fighter pilot in World War II. Yeah, you can see I'm a Hella fan. I've bought the badge, and this, of course, it's really enjoyable to build a French aircraft, a Bloch 174. Really nice to build. The Dewatin, also almost a racing aeroplane. Really beautiful lines, which came back into, also fought in the Blitzkrieg, and then when France was liberated, joined the Allied forces again. This is the Hella Stuka, which is slightly under 172 size, so it's a little bit small. But generally, when I discovered Hella models, they were just a bit nicer than the Airfix ones back in the day, in the 70s and 80s. They just seemed a bit nicer to build. I did a video comparing the Storch with the Airfix versus Hella, and the Hella was the winner. And they taught me all about the Messerschmitt 109. We all know there's E's, F's and G's, but this is a B, and they really went through the whole line from B to E. This one I've done as a tropical E, the F, and the G, and even I think possibly the nicest one is the K, a really lovely model to build. There's a French gentleman called Stephane DAVID, and he builds some beautiful models with Hella kits, and it did inspire me. The other nice thing about Hella kits is you do get aircraft that are not quite mainstream, and these two are Polish, and they are Postwar, Zakłada, Lotnicze, which we usually abbreviate to PZL, and it stands for State Aviation Works. And this is the 11, which was the main Polish fighter in 1939. And also the Karas, which was a bit like I guess equivalent to an RAF Lysander at the start of the Second World War. And as we all know, Polish pilots came to fight in France and then in Britain. And Poland never actually surrendered during the Second World War. They carried on fighting. But again, these are Wonderful kits. All the detail inside there. I don't add any extra detail. I'm too lazy. But other people would really go to town on that. For me, that's enough. And then there's also a nice little kit of the V1, but a piloted one and a Natter, which these two come together in one kit, and it's really nice if you can get a hold of that. So on little trestles there as well. And then there's post-war jets, the Saab Tunnan, and the Vampire with the shark's teeth, and another great shark's teeth livery there, the Dassault Oregon, which is Hurricane for those who might not know, and again in Israeli markings, and the yellow and black stripes are for the Suez War, a bit like the equivalent of D-Day stripes for identification. Another nice set of teeth there. But again, lovely kit to build, really, really nice. I didn't add enough weight to any of these, so they'll sit on the tail. That's me, I was being a bit lazy. So yeah, this is the collection of Hella kits I've made. And as you saw earlier, there is quite a few still in the boxes to go. You know, there's just something, they have a nice character to them, and they're a joy to make. Particularly the Karas here, which stands for Crucian Carp. I learned that because I've been watching the Gone Fishing program, but never mind. Again, this K is lovely. That's the Messerschmitt collection. So yeah, I give a, you see Hella kits around on your travels in your shop or online, give them a try. I really recommend them. And it's nice to see them back in the shops again. I also do a range of 43rd dinky scale cars as well, if that's your thing. But the subject matter is really variable. You've got all the classics. But if you want your French 1930 and 40s aircraft, Hella's the place to start. Hope you enjoyed having a look at the collection. And thank you ever so much for watching. If you want to see all these French Air Force models built up, do think about subscribing. And any comments of your experiences with Hella kits, I'd really love to hear. And thank you again for watching.